Welcome to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast series. Here we talk about all things franchising. What is it all about? Is it for you? How do you find the best one to own? And so much more. Now your host, Tim Parmeter.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning into FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach and your podcast host. Today marks episode number 97, which is approximately 98 more of these than I thought we were ever going to have, but also means we're really close. I'm not super good at math, but I think we're getting close to 100, and we got something special for you for that one. So you have to wait a couple weeks because today's 97. So we got a while to go. Today, it's just me. And we're going to talk about one particular word in the English language. May seem like a stretch for a topic, but hear me out. We're going to talk about the word decision and how that comes into play and making the decision about which franchise to choose. Because this comes up a lot. And by a lot, I mean by basically every single person we work with is going to at some point bust out the word decision regarding making a decision for a franchise. But what if I told you that you would never, and I mean never, ever have to make an actual decision while in this process to vet franchises and find the best one for you? If I told you that you'll never have to make a decision to know which franchise is best for you, would you believe me? Or would you roll your eyes and think, oh man, this dude is off his rocker? Well, here's the thing. You will not, and I'm serious, you will not ever have to make an actual decision. And when I say that, and we say it a lot to our clients throughout the process, every single person rolls their eyes at me. I know they do it. I can hear it over the phone, but you will never have to make a decision. And I'm going to explain to you today how in the end of our entire journey we take people through, you will 100% realize that you will not be making a decision. So today we're going to talk about what that means and how the heck that's possible. So roll your eyes at me now, and then but work with me as we go through this, right? So first off, a quick little recap or reminder in case you've missed this the first 96 times we've talked about it. FranCoach is a national search firm dedicated to working with individuals like yourself who are interested in owning a franchise. We are partnered with well over 500 of the top franchisors in the country, and that spans nearly 60 industries. Our goal is to help our clients find the absolute best franchise for them to own without having to make a decision, by the way. And our goal of the Franchising 101 series is to help educate people on all aspects of franchise ownership. Okay, now let's get to this. How in the world can you make such a big decision with choosing the best franchise to own without actually making a decision? So let's talk at the beginning, right? So before we ever connect people with franchisors, we're going to go through 3 steps to basically figure out what the heck you want to be when you grow up. All of the different things that are going to be important to you, many of which are things people don't realize how important they are in looking for a franchise. We talked about this before numerous times. Industry experience is the driving force in finding the next job. It is not the driving force in finding the franchise that you want to own. In fact, it's almost never the driving force for this. Most people start a franchise in an industry they have little to no experience in. They start a franchise that they wouldn't have thought of on their own and oftentimes didn't even know existed, right? So the things that really make up what we're going to be looking for: talent, skill set, core values. What are you good at? What do you want to do as an owner? People you want to be around, staff, customers, community, the conversations, the core values of the business, your customer profile, how we build a team. Those are the driving forces. We talk industry, obviously financial factors into that. But we're really going to take a deep dive and really understand everything that's going to get your butt out of bed every day to go run your business. Once we do that, then we're going to do the research. Again, we're partnered with, really at this point, dang near 600 franchises that all can be very, very different behind the scenes, even when they look the same to the consumer. So we're going to have a great understanding of what you're looking for. our relationship with our franchise partners is we know what they're looking for, right? Kind of that matchmaking piece of this. So by the time we get you connected to the franchises, again, this is why we're here. We're gonna have an idea that, man, each of these in different ways could potentially really hit what you're looking for. So then we're going to enter the discovery process, and that is a 6 to 8 week mutual vetting process. And throughout that time frame, we're going to take 10, 12, 15 different steps along the way before we ever get to the end. Our team at FranCoach, we're here to guide you through all of this because it is a lot. But some of the things that you're going to learn over those 10 to 15 steps is obviously all aspects of that franchise brand. And sometimes this is multiple steps, just going through the story behind the franchise, what they're doing, understanding their different services and products, what they look for in an owner. How does that align with what you're looking for? The sales, the marketing, all of the different support mechanisms the franchise has, how they're helping from a marketing and sales standpoint. Is it recruiting and hiring? Is it the overall operations, all the different systems that they have in place? Is it something where there's a retail location? We need site selection, negotiation, build out, tenant improvements, all of those different things. Is it financial modeling? Is it what kind of business coach and support do you have? Is it how the owners collaborate, right? And like, I'm not even hitting on everything, but you get an idea of how in-depth this is going to be with that. We're going to get into the franchise disclosure document, which is a whole thing in and of itself. We've got a whole podcast. I think it's number 11 is just simply on the FDD. Validation calls with owners. Again, a whole thing, episode 18, I believe, right? Just on the validation calls. And then that overall process ends with you'll hear these terms interchangeable: discovery day, meet the team day, sometimes confirmation day. But it is kind of the last thing where you as a potential franchise owner get to meet their entire team. Sometimes now back in person, otherwise it's virtual. But it is an opportunity to really, everybody that's going to touch your journey as an owner, you're going to get to connect with, again, whether virtual or in person, and understand their background, their roles. Usually that day is overwhelming with how much information and support there is, right? So you're going to hit all of these different things. The part of what we're going to be able to help you with is, again, having our calls throughout that journey to help make sure you're not missing anything. You're processing all the information. You're taking all the right steps. You're asking all the right questions. And so what happens is we go through this, there tends to be just a little bit more clarity along the way. There's ups and downs. It's always kind of like a roller coaster ride where there's going to be some times where you're going to get very excited. There's going to be some times where you tend to pucker up a little bit, like, oh crap, this just got real. But what happens when we get all the way to the end, all of that information that you're gathering, all the different people that you're talking to, the franchise is, small point, they're vetting you also, right? And so this is where I always kind of say it's kind of like dating, right? The first call with a franchisor, it's equivalent to, that first date where we go get a cup of coffee. We're not ending that first date and then hopping on a plane to Vegas to go get married. Same thing with this. We've got to really do that, again, that mutual due diligence. And what'll happen, and that whole, when I tell people you're never going to have to make a decision at this. And at the beginning, again, there's strong eye rolls, just like you probably did when I said this at the beginning. But as we get farther along, there's a little more clarity, a little bit more comfort. We're getting more information. We're getting a better understanding of all of those things, where we're kind of starting to nod our head moving forward. And at the end of that last piece, that discovery day, meet the team day, you're going to walk out of there, whether in person or virtual, and you're going to know, yes, this is the thing for me. Because of all that information, there's really not this big, well, let me write down all my pros and cons. Again, kind of like getting married, right? We're not starting a maybe business, right? Maybe this one is good. We're not marrying the maybe person. Only one person in the world that's allowed to marry the maybe person, and that's my significant other. That's sorry, honey, but you did. So, but you don't realize that, yeah, so that's great. But everything else, we're not marrying the maybe. We're not starting the maybe business. It will be that crystal clear at the end because of all of the steps, all of the information along the way with the franchisors, but even more so at the beginning, the steps that we're going to take with you to help understand what is it that you really want? What is it that you're really good at and want to do on a daily basis? And again, big hint, surprise here is that it's not going to be what you think. It's not how you're looking at your life in the corporate world from, well, this is what I've always done, therefore that's what I can apply to because it's the only thing anybody's going to be the time of day with. That's not going to happen in franchising, right? So those preliminary steps, really 3 things that we're going to do with clients before we get you introduced to the franchises, and then our relationship with the franchisors to know how do those things align, what you're looking for and what they're looking for. And then again, 10, 15 different steps. You're going to talk to probably that many different people within the franchise along the way, with our supports, helping you understand what is this all about and making sure that nothing gets missed. When we get to the end, you will not have to make a decision. And the amount of times, and it's on multiple of our kind of in their words podcasts with our clients, you can pick any of them. At some point, they're going to say this is they got to the end. They didn't think that was possible. They got to the end and they're like, yes, this is the one. It was not an agonizing decision. It wasn't a long list of pros and cons. It was trust your gut based on all of the guidance and the information you got along the way. Yes, this is it. And you're off and running with your new business. So roll your eyes at me all you want. Let's talk, right? You're tuning into the Franchising 101 podcast. I always say there's a reason. This is something that is on your mind. It can be incredibly overwhelming to try to search by yourself online. Online information for franchising tends to be more consumer facing, right? Which place do we go for whatever all these services are? Anything even as an owner is very surface level. It's not the behind the scenes proprietary stuff. This is why we're here to help with that. So reach out, FranCoach.net, franchising101podcast.net are our 2 sites. Send us a message. There's never a fee for our service. Let's help figure out what you want to be when you grow up, help get you connected with franchises, take you through this entire journey so you can get to the end and go, man, that crazy bald dude was right. I really didn't have to make a decision. This is the perfect thing for me. And again, help you kind of essentially create your better tomorrow, take control of your life with your business. It's on your mind. You're interested. We appreciate you as always for tuning in, all of our loyal podcast listeners. Please reach out to us. Also, feel free to reach out if there's something you want to hear about or learn more about as we get really close to being in triple digits with episodes. I always appreciate the feedback and ideas. In fact, one of our next ones here in the next couple weeks, we've got one that's really 2 that are coming up that are user feedbacks or listener feedback. Sorry. So check it out. FranCoach.net, franchising101podcast.net. Those are our 2 places all over social media. So check us out there. But most importantly, you've tuned in. Thank you for doing so. You have some interest in franchise ownership. Let's chat. Let's get you connected with some franchises. Let's take you through this process and show you how you are not ever going to have to make a decision to find that perfect franchise for you when you're working with us at FranCoach. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We always appreciate it. And in the meantime, before we talk, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast, where our ultimate goal is to help educate you on all things franchising so you can create your better tomorrow.